Ahoy and welcome to Riftbound Nexus Nights. Today we have Captain Dad versus Lcojoker, Lee Sin versus Teemo. Today we got Monastery of Hirana coming out for the Lee Sin player, Bandletree coming out for Teemo, and Teemo playing first, Ravenbloom Student down on the play, turn 1. Big shout out to Descent into Gaming for letting me come in and record a few matches today. I went down to Bradenton, played a few different of the LGSs down there. It was one of the better venues for lighting, so we got some good games here today. Captain Dad coming out with the Poro on his first turn, throwing the buff with the Legend ability, passing it back to Joker. Joker is playing Blue Teemo Strategist. Teemo that will deal damage according to hidden cards that are revealed off the top of your deck if he is defending. And Ravenbloom Student moving up to the Monastery of Hirana, scoring the first point of the game. Playing the Bandletree, but deciding to go to the Monastery. Just trying to play some defense, making sure I don't draw cards possibly is his thought process here. Otherwise, I think Teemo would want to take advantage of being able to hide multiple cards at his battlefield if he's playing that battlefield there. Stack deck comes out. Look at the top 3 cards of your main deck. Put one of them into your hand. Recycle the rest. Give him a little advantage here to some card tempo. The first hidden card comes down. And let's see here, going back to Captain Dad. We were able to secure a couple upgrades since the last video. So we should hopefully see a couple of new cards this game, we'll see. Stalwart Poro goes into the Bandletree, passing priority. Gust comes out. No points for the Poro today. Gust is good. Return a unit from the battlefield with 3 or less might. And that's going to go back to his hand, so... With what looks like 5 energy, yeah, we're going to bring out the Lee Sin back to the base. Passing back to Joker. It's going to awaken everything on his side, scoring a second point with the Ravenbloom on the hold. And it looks like we are playing Teemo Strategist up there. Just, I know that glare again is kind of difficult to see on some of these cards. I think halfway through it, the lighting changes a little bit, but for all intents and purposes, anything that you can't see, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, the overlay should capture everything that's going on for us. Joker coming down with a Nocturne, coming into the base. And comboing off with a Ride the Wind. Gonna move it up into the Bandletree, scoring a 3rd point. And of course, readying the unit. Nocturne has ganking. There he is, gonna move it over. Defense up onto the Monastery of Hirana. Nice explosive little start here for Joker, 3-0. As he points out the origin stamp on the Lee Sin. That would be the reason why we started playing this one over the other 3 free cons. The first event that I went to, that was the stamped card that I got. Really do love the artwork on some of these cards. Was very excited to obtain the first alternate art Lee Sin. I think we got a couple more videos before we get to see him. Taking a moment here to decide what I should do on this turn. Deciding, as this is the first time I've played a Teemo, that I need to take it slow, and be cautious. We're going to do the easy first play, legend ability, throw a buff on, and move in for Conquer to the Bandle tree. Putting the first points on the board for Captain Dad. And looks like Captain Dad has a few different options available here. We've got that Stalwart Poro, of course, that was gusted back earlier in the game. I see an Arena Bar in his hand, a couple of small spells. Yeah, Stalwart Poro coming down to back up Lee Sin at the Bandle tree there. Looks like we're going to go ahead and use all the energy this turn, tapping all the way out. Exhausting everything. Yes, sir. Fully exhausted. We're going to play that Arena Bar for that last 3. And we're going to use that Arena Bar on that Poro. Rum for everybody when the captain's in charge. Haha. Looks like we're going to finish the turn with a hidden card. There we go. Passing it back to Joker here. He's going to awaken the turn, go up a point. Got 4-1 here, it looks like. Halfway there for him already. Looks like he's got 6 runes available, 3 on each color. Lcojoker taking a few moments here to figure out what the best play is. Checking to see his cards. See if he can get a little bit more might on the battlefield and or develop his board a little bit further. And yeah, staring at a large guy in the face. Nocturne probably can't come back over for any time soon without any tricks. Looks like we will use an energy to retreat the Teemo from the champion zone back to his hand, basically. All right, yeah, and that legend ability from Teemo, tap 1 energy, tap the Teemo, put a Teemo unit you own into your hand from your champion zone or the board. So basically lets him pull that Teemo back to his hand for 1 energy rune there and exhausting the leader, looks like. Yeah, getting back into it. Loco's going to take a turn off here. Enjoy his lead up at 4. Pass it back to Captain Dad, scoring up to 2. Looks like we're going to draw a Charm. Nice powerful card here, I think, in this situation. We'll see how we use it. A couple of shield units got to feel pretty good for holding, but being behind a couple points means that we're going to have to do something here in order for Captain Dad to come back in this game. Otherwise, if we just hold and stay where we're at, Lcojoker's going to walk away with this one pretty easily. Lee Sin moves back to the base. Going to use the Arena Bar to throw an extra buff on Lee Sin. Counting the energy here on the runes. Looks like we're going to do 3, 6. Yes, sir. Big Lee Sin. Lee Sin centered. Coming down. Other buffed units at my battlefield get +2. It's going to make that Poro nice and large here. Effectively 5 might standing. If he attacks in, he'll get a shield buff. Put him up to 6. But as it stands, 5 + 6 at that battlefield. 11 represented on the Bandle tree. Passing it back to Joker. And we're going to go up to 5 points here with that. Only a couple of points away from his win. If he can hold out there, we'll see what happens. Can he get enough on this battlefield to withstand the next Lee Sin attack that is inevitable next turn? Using 4 energy, recycling another one. A second Nocturne coming down. Monastery of Piranha, 10 power. That's pretty, 10 might rather, represented on Monastery. Pretty decent little number there, I'd say. And playing Teemo Strategist down at the Monastery as well. And so you can see Captain Dad reading some cards here, a little banter between the two players. Joker explaining how the card has been errated and how Teemo does not trigger doubly on being hidden and defense, but only on defense. Now he explains that it only happens on defense, so does that mean Teemo has to be revealed when attacks are declared in order to get defense trigger? Or when he is, after he is revealed, he is considered defending, so that then triggers? Not sure exactly how that's supposed to work out, but with him face up here, I don't think it's relevant. But that's the way that Lcojoker explained it there, I believe. Putting a little damper here now that we got some RNG that might happen. Let's see what happens for response from Captain Dad. Start and turn off with a legend ability buff. Moving the green Lee Sin up to 8 might effectively. And a Stand United. Buff a friendly unit. Buffs give an additional +1 to friendly units this turn. So that's going to move him from 4 buffs with 8 additional power +5 up to 13 might. And it looks like we're going to challenge one of the Nocturnes with the Lee Sin. Alright, so Lee Sin will have 4 damage hanging. He's got, what, 13? Is that what I count? For his might. So he should be at 9 damage to kill him. Looks like we're going to charm the Teemo back to base. Wonder why I didn't charm the Teemo over to the other battlefield. Regardless, moving the Lee Sin green into the Monastery of Hirana for a combat. He's got 13 might against the 6 might represented. Fight or flight is shown, but defy ready to go. Lee Sin going to eat that battlefield, score a point. On that conquer point, Captain Dad going to recycle the buff for that monastery and get that draw card trigger. Going up to 4 points. Nice little tempo swing in the game here. If he can hold out from here, it should be a nice, easy victory. We'll see if Lcojoker can put anything larger out on the battlefield other than a Teemo and Traveling Merchant. Looks like we're going to play another hidden card on the Lee Sin. So both battlefields, hidden cards. Both battlefields, Lee Sins. 11 might represented on the Bandle tree, and what seems to be 9 might represented on Monastery of Hirana at the moment. Lcojoker definitely falling behind on board presence in the might factor. What can he do to equalize this game? Let's see here, blue and purple. We got Mind Splitters, Thousand Tail Watchers possibly. He definitely needs to get a unit with larger might out on the battlefield as soon as possible. Joker going to start this turn out with playing Kaisa Evolutionary down at the base. She has a on-conquer effect, so nothing to affect the game this first turn she comes down. Unless, of course, he has a Ride the Wind or something else to play. Nah, looks like we're just going to reinforce the board, build it back up. A second Traveling Merchant comes down at the base. Passing back, it looks like. Captain Dad's going to awaken his board. And we're going to go up to 2 points, 6 to 5 now. Looks like this game is shifted, has swayed. Much like the tides in the ocean, this game is back and forth. Just making sure we get a little scorekeeping done there on the side, it looks like. Back into it. Kiana played for Captain Dad back at the base. And picking up Lee Sin. Okay, yeah, just going to use the ability. We're going to exhaust Lee Sin, add another buff from his own ability. Add a second buff from the arena bar. We'll use the legend ability to buff the orange Lee Sin on the Bandle Tree battlefield. And with a couple of points scored, Kiana backed up on the bench. Captain Dad's going to pass it back to Joker, see what he can do. Buffs are getting a little out of hand over there, it looks like. 6 buffs. Both battlefields effectively at 11 might standing. Going up to 12 might if either one of them attacked into as both the shield and the Lee Sin. As both the Stalwart Poro and this Lee Sin both have shield. Teemo coming down at the base, second Teemo. And looks like a big attack coming into play here. Lcojoker sending in the house. Looks like we got Kaisa, Teemo, 2 traveling merchants. 6 plus 6 is going to put us at 12 might. So effectively 12 might on attacks with defense shield trigger 12 versus 12. Let's see if Lcojoker has an extra play here. Something else. Otherwise, push. So, yeah, Lcojoker says even trade. Passes priority. Captain Dad passing the Zhonya's Hourglass. New card for the deck. Upgrade. Zhonya's Hourglass will move back to base. Trigger. Saving Lee Sin. And here we go. Just doing a little bit of math here. Double checking, yeah, 12 to 12. They should all kill each other. Zhonya's saves the Lee Sin back to the base. And yeah, he's got, what, 2, 3 energy left open. Playing a Consult the Past. Drawing his last couple of cards. Don't think there's going to be anything in there that's really going to be able to change what's going on here. He does have the fight or flight, but with 2 units on the base, he'll only be able to keep one of them off of the second battlefield this next turn. Passing it back to Captain Dad. Captain Dad will awaken everything and score that last 7th point there. That match point, 7th point, not the last point, excuse me. Drawing card, moving Kiana up into the battlefield. And yeah, we'll go ahead and score that 8th point. Get ready for game 2 here. Reveals the fight or flight on that first thought, but... Alright, welcome to game 2. Got Captain Dad versus Lcojoker. And Lcojoker lost last match, so he'll play first this one. Starting off the game, Traveling Merchant, turn 1. Looks like we got Dreaming Tree Battlefield coming out for Lee Sin. Grove of the God Willow coming out for Lcojoker on his Teemo. And decent little play, just like the first game. I think we repeat the patterns. Traveling Merchant out first for Joker. Stalwart Poro out first with Captain Dad. Coming out with a buff on it from the Legend ability here since Captain Dad went second. And Traveling Merchant moves up into the Grove of the God Willow. Triggering ability. When he moves, discard a card, draw a card.
This is one of my favorite purple cards.
Joker pointing out that that's one of his favorite cards there. Going ahead, exhausting an energy, hiding a card at the battlefield, and choosing to pass turn, leave up the rest of his energy in case he wants to interact with anything Captain Dad does this next turn.
Gust is a 3 power or less. But only one of us hit fight or flight. Yeah, fight or flight. Gust is not hidden. Gust has to be free.
Captain Dad asking about Gust or Fight or Flight. Which one can be hidden? Fight or Flight is the one that can be hidden. Gust cannot be hidden. Gust also only hits units with Might 3 or less. Looks like we're going big here. Spending all 4 or 5 energy there. Recycling an orange body rune. Ah, we're playing Kiana actually. Okay. Attacking in with the Stalwart on the Dreaming Tree. Game evened, 1-1. We got 1 energy floating, it looks like. Let's see if Captain Dad remembers to use that one. Getting ready to pass turn. Oh, pass this turn. There we go. Remembers the Legend ability. Use that energy to give Kiana a buff. Passing over to Lcojoker. He's going to held his point, go up to 2. Traveling Merchant gets ready. Looks like we got a couple different move spells, some interaction in Joker's hand, to consult the past as well. No big creatures though, so going to be kind of concerning if once Captain Dad gets the Lee Sin out on the board, what he'll do for an answer on that. Playing Teemo Strategist to his base.
No, he's in base.
And passing it back to Captain Dad. Awakening the board. Captain Dad will go up to 2 points, evening the game up 2-2. Drawing card for the turn. Starting things off. Let's see what we can do here. Eagerly awaiting to see what Captain Dad will do next. Safe play, probably just play the Lee Sin, but see if he wants to get something else down on the board. Looks like we're going to play for 2 energy runes, recycling 1 power. Yeah, challenge, there we go. Kiana into Traveling Merchants, that way we don't have to deal with that hidden card. See if we get a little interaction. Yeah, there we go. Consult the past out of Lcojoker. Going to draw 2 cards before the challenge resolves, and as the challenge resolves, he will lose control of that battlefield. Fight or Flight goes to the graveyard there, and no effect happens upon reveal. Kiana, free to take the battlefield now as she wishes, moving up into the Grove Godwillow. Captain Dad scoring point number 3 on that Conquer, choosing to use the Kiana trigger to channel an exhausted rune. And looks like we're going to use that exhausted rune. And a hidden card. Starting the hidden game. So what have we seen so far out of Captain Dad? Arena Bar played for him right there, but as far as hidden cards, we've seen Zonia's Hourglass and Stand United. So a couple different options it could be. Passing turn back to Joker. And staring at a 5 Might Kiana with a hidden card is got to be an intimidating factor. Deciding to move a Teemo up into the Dreaming Tree instead, going for some points. scoring a third one, evening the game up 3-3. First play of the game, first play of the turn here. We're going to look at the top 3 cards of your main deck with the stacked deck. Definitely a must-have for any Chaos deck. Even in the set too, I don't know that there are very many decks that don't play that as a play set. 2 more runes, Exhausted for Ravenbloom Student, coming down to back up Teemo at the Dreaming Tree. And just like Teemo likes to do, we're going to hide a card. Dreaming Tree hidden with Joker's card. Grove of the God Willow has a hidden with Captain Dad. The dark green versus the light green. Passing back to Captain Dad. We're going to hold for an extra draw. Draw 2 this turn, go up to 4 points. And while we got a little lull in the action, love to have a little interaction on the video here from you. If you want to give me a like, that would be great. Maybe a little comment. Tell me what you think of the video series so far. Got a couple more of these Nexus nights to go. And we got a Summoner Skirmish coming up as well. Yeah, let's see here. Coming down, 6 energy. Paying for Udyr. Looks like we're going to Arena buff. Arena bar to get a buff. There we go. And we're going to spend that buff from Udyr to try to deal 2 damage to a unit at a battlefield. Targeting Teemo Strategist. And Joker's going to respond with a Gust, return a unit, choosing his own Teemo. Not a bad little trade, I don't think, for Captain Dad. Get to spend 1 buff, something you get free every turn anyway, to pull a card out of Joker's hand and move a unit off the battlefield. Poro comes up to tag team for the Kiana onto the Grove of the God Willow. Swapping places, Kiana going back to the base. And Captain Dad deciding if he wants to use that last rune, save it for the next turn. Yeah, looks like we will save that rune for the next turn. Some interaction, probably a Defy, possibly On Guard. But usually a tell if Lee Sin isn't using his energy to use his buffs at all possible times, then there's probably some interaction to be had. Then again, I can say that I am not a great player, so, you know, let's go all out. Why not? I really enjoyed this store. They were really friendly, and there was great open space here. The lighting, as you can see, is going to be finicky no matter where we're at, unless I get to set up my own lights. But for the most part, you can see, I believe, these games a little bit better. Got the official League of Legends 4-player play mat from the store. So that's what we're playing on right here. Nice little touch. Lcojoker. Lcojoker. Drawn plenty of cards here, but does he play any larger units? That's the question. Teemo, Strategist, coming down, backing up the Ravenbloom. Looks like we got a Stupefy, a Retreat there that I see in Loco's hand. And we're going to go ahead and use the Legend ability from Teemo to put a Teemo unit from the Champion Zone into his hand. It's like a Thousand Tail Watcher, so we do have some big units there. Ride the Wind, it looks like, also in Loco's hand. Passing back to Captain Dad, we're going to go up to 5 points on the Awaken. Draw the extra card for that Grove of the God Willow trigger. For 5, recycling a power. Lee Sin, I believe, is what the play is going to be on that one. Yeah? Yes, sir. Lee Sin has entered the base. Arena Bar, add the buff.
Where's the rum? More rum!
Pit Rookie, when you play me, buff another friendly unit. Choosing to buff the Udyr again. Spending the buff off of Udyr. Trying to deal the 2 damage back to the Teemo. And we'll force another interaction. Retreat. Retreat is going to return the friendly unit to his hand and allow him to channel an exhausted rune. Teemo's out of the equation. Trigger on Ravenbloom's student as she goes up to 3 might for casting that successful spell. For playing rather than casting, excuse me. Big difference in this game. Captain Dad deciding to charm the Ravenbloom simply back to base so we can avoid the hidden cards. Looks like another fight or flight. So yeah, effectively fizzling out the spell. Kiana comes into the battlefield Dreaming Tree for Conquer. Gonna go up to 6 points. Now technically, I don't think you can stupefy to draw for Joker there. He played the stupefy. Okay, no, the stupefy draw off of the card, not off of the Dreaming Tree. There we go, that makes sense, yeah. Udyr coming up to back up the Stalwart Poro on the Grove of the God Willow. Got 9 might represented on that battlefield at the moment. Hiding a card on the Dreaming Tree. And passing turn back to Joker. So yeah, 9 might on the Grove of the God Willow, 5 might on the Dreaming Tree. Hidden card on each of them. And all he's got on board is a Ravenbloom student. I think this game is probably going to be more of a wash than the first one, unless he can do something big. We do know that he has that Thousand-Tail Watcher, but how much does that really do for him in this situation? Staring green Lee Sin down at the base. So when Lee Sin is already at 6 with the 2 might of the Pit Rookie, that's going to put him up to 8 with a double attack on both of those. So even using Thousand-Tail Watcher, you know, you'll get a battlefield in, but crack back attack is gonna lose him right away unless he's got something else to save that. What do we say? Thousand-Tail Watcher seems to be the play that we're considering. Looks like he's got a treasure trove in there as well.
Lcojoker considering his options heavily here, as this may be his last turn in the game.
And yeah, looks like that's what we're going to try to play. Thousand-Tail Watcher. Now he does exhaust 8 runes, but he only recycled the 1 right there, so he needs to recycle the second one. There it is, yep. I believe that's what I might be pointing out there on the video. Just pointing out the acceleration rune. Deciding on which battlefield he wants to go into with it. And yeah, moving into the Grove of the God below. Just double checking here, math. Poro's at 1, shield up to 2, Udyr's at 3, 5 damage versus 7. Thousand-Tail Watcher wins combat, scores point, goes up to 5. Captain Dad up, 6-5 right now. And he will play that treasure trove, that next card. In so doing, he taps out. Yeah, okay, so deciding to use the treasure trove, exhaust it, recycle a rune to draw a card. And he's fully exhausted. This is pretty free on the crackback, it looks like. That Zonia exposed. Udyr stayed alive. So even more so back. Yeah, just attack back in. He's got fight or flight. That might interact with the board a little bit funny. We have to get... Let's see what we could do. We could buff Udyr and stun the Thousand Tail. That wouldn't be enough though if it's fight or flight, because then you just fight or flight the big guy back. Gonna have to do something to pump up a little bit bigger. Okay, that should be enough there. Just for good measure, we're gonna stand united. Pit Rookie throws the first buff on the Lee Sin. Stand United is gonna throw on a second buff. And Legend ability should throw on another buff as well. Buff's giving an additional +1. 4 + 5. Lee Sin himself represents 9 might. How is this going to end? A couple different lines here. With Joker fully exhausted, I don't think he's got anything to say. I think this is just a spectating game for him at this point, unfortunately. No, we got 3 buffs, each of them +2. So let's see here. We got 11 might for Lee Sin is what I'm looking at there. We will reveal Teemo. So yeah, if we reveal, do we still get the trigger? Or is it need to be revealed before defense triggers? Regardless, only 1 hidden card deals 1 point of damage. 9 + 10. Excuse me, 9 + 1 equals 10 total damage there. Lee Sin is at 12, 11. Yeah, 1 point of damage. That'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. That's 2 games down in the book. We got 1 more round coming up here at Descent into Gaming,
where I'll be taking on a Kaisa player. Stay tuned for the next one.
Episode 3 in the books. If you made it this far, just want to say thanks for hanging out. And let's see if we can get 3 likes for episode number 3. I'll cast another one after this. What do you say? We got 1 more round down here in Descent into Gaming. We'll see you next time.